The new jerseys are out, baby. We're going to talk about them. We're going to react to them. And hell, the legend himself, Matt O'Leary, is going to grade them. He's going to put on his professor hat and give us his latest grades and rankings and things of that nature as we do this. It's time for Boy Green Daily, baby. Let's roll. Zoinks! It is unequivocally the Super Bowl for New York Jet fans.
Field Yates, baby. Field gosh darn Yates. Let's bring him on the show. Come on, people. Connor Rogers is joining the show. What's up, Connor? But Trevor gosh darn Sycamore, baby, for me, personally, my favorite New York Jet of all time.
Wow, it's great to be on. What an intro that was right there.
Paul, nobody does an intro like you, man.
Paul, you give the best intro of literally any podcast that I've ever been.
I'm gonna lose my gosh darn bananas. Good morning, you maniacs out there. I'm Paul Eston Jr., a.k.a. Boy Green. I'm the New York Jets digital reporter for Heavy.com. Welcome to Boy Green Daily, a daily New York Jets video show, also available wherever you get your audio podcasts here on the show. Without further ado, let's bring him in. Matt gosh darn O'Leary, and of course he has his own channel. You guys can check out all the juicy deets, and feel free to do so. And soon to be a man off the market. He is a free agent that has signed a deal. So sorry, ladies and men, he is off the table. So let's bring him in. Matt gosh darn O'Leary, what's up, brother?
Not too much, man. Thank you, as always, for having me on the program this morning.
Yeah, and then so you had to change the last name, O'Leary, Matt O'Leary. That's very nice. You kept that there. Excellent work, man. So what's that? Right before Thanksgiving? Is that when the big day's coming?
Yes. So this past weekend did a little fam celebration with the fiance for our engagement, and we're getting married in November of 2025. So really looking forward to it. It's the week before Thanksgiving.
Okay, wait. Oh, it's 2025, so it's not coming up in a couple of months.
No. We got some time.
Okay, good. I don't know if you got what the schedule maker said. That's probably the bye week. Either way, I appreciate it, Matt. I'm sure she does too. That's great.
Yeah, that's what I don't know. We both have said, like, we gotta pray that it's the bye week, but it's a Saturday. It's a Saturday wedding. I was like,
okay, smart man.
Like,
Good.
Friday, Saturday, fine. She likes fall, so I was like, we could like, I'm down for compromise as long as it's not on a Sunday. That's all I ask. I'll do a Saturday wedding. That's fine.
Good man. I just feel like it's un-American, quite frankly, to put a wedding on a Sunday in the fall.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, people.
Oh, she knows better. She's
Excellent.
She's not that crazy.
Okay. All right. Well, good work there, Matt. That's phenomenal. And by the way, we changed it up the room. We had to put in the brand new logo. So let's throw it up on the screen. Let's just get a quick taste. You know, Boy Green Daily, 7:30 in the morning. The Jets dropped this at 9. I was in my car heading to the radio station when I get the little YouTube notification. It's like the new uniform drop from the Jets. And I watch that little video, and I'm by myself in the car, just, whoa, yeah, baby. I was fired up. It was phenomenal, but I didn't really know what to do with my energy while driving the car. I'm not sure what the people thought that were passing by, but I guess that's neither here nor there. But let's throw it up. Here you go. This is kind of a good look at all of them. We lose the goofy names, which were Gotham Green and Stealth Black and Spotlight White. None of that exists anymore. It's all Legacy Green, White, and Black. So what was your initial reaction? So we knew that the Legacy Whites were basically staying here, Matt, but they've made a few tweaks and things, and of course the most important is the retro logo, which is now the primary logo, but they made a few interesting tweaks to both the black and green, which are really sharp.
Yeah, I agree. I think both look really sharp. I was a big fan of the legacy throwback uniforms that they brought in last year, so was excited when they announced that they are switching to these full time. And the green, pretty much an inverse of what we saw last year, right? It's just flipped to the green uniform and the white numbers. I like the font. I like that the numbers are big. I think it stands out. And for the black uniforms, I think that's the one we knew the least about, right? Like in different mock-ups, I saw some that had like green numbers, but I think the white numbers really pop on the black jerseys. But you still get the green stripe down the side of the pants. So I think they did a really good job with these to make them unique. It's a modern spin on a retro look, which that's kind of my favorite style of NFL jerseys nowadays. I don't really love the like futuristic looking ones. They don't
Mhm.
really do it for me. But the retro that are modernized is perfect. And I think the Jets knocked it out of the park with this.
Yeah, and you mentioned the numbers because that's something. So, since again, I was in my car, didn't really know what to do as I'm driving with all these emotions and energy. Luckily, the Jets say, "Hey, we're doing a live stream with Ethan Greenberg and Caroline Hendershot to just talk about him and show everybody." I'm like, "Cool, okay, I'm stuck in the car anyway, so let's see him." And apparently, Jermaine Johnson, who's number 11 on your far right, if you're watching, he loves that the digits are more emphatic. It's not just two blocks of cheese. Apparently, is how it was described to me the other day. That they're actual digits. It's pronounced. You can see that they're ones. Apparently, Jermaine was a big fan of that. Yeah.
Yeah, as he should be. I didn't really love the font of the numbers on the last uniform, especially like the double ones rocking on the 11. It's kind of like two sticks. I was calling it the two sticks of butter. That's what it reminded me of. It's just like two straight lines down.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it with Robbie Anderson and then Denzel Mims and then Jermaine Johnson all wore number 11 in this new uniform set. But I love the look of the font of these. It's bold. It stands out. It's really good. They did a good job with it.
Matt, let me ask you this. I know you guys said you celebrated with a small engagement party. Did you and the lovely just kind of pour one out for the era from 2019 to 2024? I saw some of your videos on the shorts on Instagram and YouTube and stuff talking about it. Like that was an era that happened.
Yeah, that will not be missed. One of the darkest eras in Jets football. And I get it. Like when they were changing the uniforms after 2018, like I was excited for a fresh look. But I'm happy that has been ushered out because 2019 through 2023, not the best. A lot of disappointment, a lot of weird seasons. The Darnold Mono year, the first year, and then the Adam Gase disaster of 2020. And it's just, I'm glad that you can kind of put that in the rear view, and hopefully we never see those jerseys again.
Yes. Burn them. That's exactly how I feel. Now, Matt, before we get into any of the hoopla, I guess I will. Someone asked this question. Let me throw this in there. This is actually not where I was going, but I did just see this question go in there. Let's see if I can pull it up. Maybe I won't find it, so I'll just say it out loud. Someone asked, is your fiance a Jets fan? Was she a Jet? Oh, there it is. There's John Sauer, part of the Boy Green Super Fan Club. Appreciate your support, pal. Congrats, man. Is she a Jets fan? And I will add even more to this question. Was she a Jets fan, or did you convert her to the holy Lord above?
So her dad is a huge sports fan. We get along very well. And he is a Jets fan. So she is very involved in Jets culture. Like she's not a diehard, but she watches games with me. She's a great sport with it, and like will go to games with me. She's going to be at the draft party that we're doing out on Long Island in 11 days now. We're getting really 9. I'm not a math guy.
What is it? The first round?
Yeah, first round.
Oh, then it's 9 days. 9 days from
9
today.
days. There we go. Not a math guy. But yes, to answer your question, yes, she's a Met fan. She loves Jets fan rather. She loves going to games with me. I was gonna say we go to Mets games at Citi Field, we go to the Islander games at UBS Arena. So she's a sports fan.
Okay, excellent. I love it. By the way, give us all the deets for that if people, I don't know if tickets are still available, but give us all the details for this upcoming draft party.
Yeah, so today's actually the last day that you can get tickets because we got to let the venue know how many people are coming.
Sure.
But if you go to talkingjets.com, you can purchase your tickets to the event. Your ticket includes open bar for the entirety of the first round. I will be taking advantage of that. We're having a Talking Jets buffet, so all different kinds of appetizers and stuff like that. You get a raffle ticket that you could insert into the jersey giveaway. We're giving tickets away for 2 games, and we're going to do live crowd cam reactions throughout the night. So it's a ton of fun. We have like 59 people so far.
Nice.
So hopefully we get that number up over 60, but we're really excited about it.
All right, awesome. So, guys, get your tickets in for draft night. That should be a lot of fun. All right, Matt, here's one of the things that we're going to have you do today. I don't know if you've ever done this in your life as like a judge, but you know, like the only thing I can think of is like diving, right? They do a dive and then you wait for the people and then they kind of raise the little digits. So it's could be a 1, terrible, 10, oh, perfect. So not only did the Jets release these logos that if you're watching on the screen, they're now the updated logos in the corners on Boy Green Daily, but they've released primary logos and several secondary logos. So, Matt, I'm going to put it up on the screen, and fans get involved if you're watching live as well. I want you to rate each of the things that I put out here. If it's a 1, it's terrible. If it's 10, it's perfect. So anywhere between the scoring and rating is up to you. But the Jets did release a bunch of logos, so I want to get your thoughts on all of them here. So we'll start with this. Okay, this is just Booyah. The primary logo is this. How would you rate this on a scale of 1 to 10, Matt O'Leary?
This is as close to perfection as you can get. I don't like on the dives. We never see 10 out of 10. So I'm gonna be a hard grader. I'm not gonna give 10 out of 10s. This is a 9.8 though. This is about as close as you could humanly get. You're getting the gold medal with the 9.8 score. I love it. This is fantastic.
Yeah, and I will also just say, to your point, I hate on like the slam dunk contest. We're getting plenty of 10s in here, so I guess they're a bit more free willy with their grading. That's fine. But on the slam dunks, you'll get like a lame ass dunk. I just saw like the back end of the dunk contest a couple of weeks ago, months ago, whatever it was, and there was something lame. They gave it 10s. I'm like, there's no up from there. If that's a 10, then you're drawing the line in the sand on what's a 10. So we got to be very careful. But everyone in here, a strong 10. Okay, I respect it because I love it. I would also give it a 10 or 9.7. I'll go a little lower than Matt O'Leary for no reason whatsoever. All right, here's the other one. They seem to be a fan of ovals, the oblong shaped football tip of the cap. Well, what is your grade on this, sir?
Yeah, so I still like the font. The logo is or the oval is okay. I don't feel like they needed that, but we're gonna see that at midfield.
Yeah,
say like a 7-8, something like that. Like I think it's above average logo look, but I don't know if they need to have the oval. They're obsessed with these ovals.
It seems that way. I don't know. And here's the problem. I'll be honest. I have resisted the urge. We'll ask you what's been in your shopping cart, Matt. We'll ask you that in a little bit. But, I've got a bunch of the old logos there. I do have a few of these, but it's mostly old. So, I'm going to have to see if I could do that. Yeah, there's a lot of varying grades here, 7s, 8s. They say the oval is a football, Paul. Yes. Okay. Thank you very much. Again, I said oblong shaped. That could also fit the bill. Okay. But still, I'm fine with that. All right, here's another one here. The NY. Now, this one, I don't want to say if it's controversial, but this is very polarizing. I hear a lot of people on this. I'm still kind of undecided. I'm not sure how I feel. What about you, Matt?
Yeah, I don't think it's as good as what the last two that you showed on the screen is, but I'll say like a little above average, like a 6.4, something like that.
Okay. Again, for our audio-only listeners, it's an NY with the trailing jet logo above it. Now, do you feel differently because the stores are wide open? Jet Shop, official NFL shop. I got no particular affiliation, so whichever you prefer. Do you feel differently if the logo is on a t-shirt, if it's on a hat, if it's a this or that for some of the things we've shown thus far? Does that like kind of change your perception of whether you're willing to buy it, or is it only the straight up, as we have in the corners, the JETS with the trailing jet on the J? Are those really the only ones you're buying right now, or are you a little open?
I think the ones that I'm open to is like the first one that you showed, and I'm open to the one with the oval. This I think might look good on a hat. I don't know how great it would look on a shirt because it's small and concise. So I feel like that to me screams hat logo. I'd have to see it. Like I'm a visual person, so like I think the logo is pretty solid, but I would love to see it on a hat before I make that decision.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think on a shirt, it may feel like underwhelming, like there's something missing, perhaps. Or if it's a small piece, like a polo, and it's just kind of the one small logo, perhaps you could get away with it. Now, I'm going to just be honest. This next one I'm about to show on the screen, I have to like take it off and take a second to, because this one is very odd, man. I'm going to be honest. I don't even know what this is, but I guess I know what it is, but I'm just really not sure what is happening here. So let me throw this one up, the video reset. So 1 second, let me get it back to this right here. It is an oval with a jet coming into it. Do you have any thoughts? This may be, I will poison you, I guess. This is the ugliest thing I've ever seen.
I was going to say, I don't want to be the Debbie Downer. I really don't like this one. This is going to be the lowest grade, like a 3.1.
So I have a -4. Like this thing is disgusting.
I get what they're trying to do. I understand it's the whatever you want to call it that goes across the top.
Yeah.
It looks bizarre. I'm not for me. Not for
Yeah.
me.
Yeah, and people also are agreeing with the ugly nature. Again, I just yeah, you say you understand what they're going for here. What are they going for here, man?
I was gonna I understand and like where it comes
Oh,
from,
I see.
coming
Okay.
from the top of the logo, but
Yeah.
not for me. And again, back with the oval. They love these things.
That's it's very odd on the oval there. That one's a bit strange. Okay, what about just the letters? So get rid of the jet entirely. That's another one of their logos here. It's just the JETS, all same cap. You kind of have like the trailing diagonal a little bit letters with the JS. This is actually what they have. I'm pretty sure in the team facilities, but I also think they have the trailing jet above it. They may not, but this is this one, a simplistic look. Thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's not as good as the original one, but it's a nice alternate. So I'll go like flat 7, something
Okay.
like that.
Yeah, that seems about right because, like, it doesn't have the pizzazz, it doesn't have the rims that the nicer vehicle has, but it's nice. And then this one is kind of an old school shout. I have several of these, which is the NY, also in the football here. The NY, I've got a couple of those classics back from the 90s that I really enjoy. So it's kind of, I suppose, an ode to that. It's just the NY white lettering with the green football. Thoughts on this?
Yeah, I kind of have this in the same tier as the last one that you showed. So I'm going to go right around the 7 again. I think they're both, like, when I think alternate logos,
Sure.
this is like for the Jets anyway. Like, this is a classic one. The green just seems to pop for whatever reason too.
Mhm.
With this. I like it. I think it's solid. I'll go like right around the 7 again with this.
Also, for people who don't know or did not notice, shout out to Sports Logos. They were the one that broke the story that this was coming out on the 15th, and they also talked about it in general. So while it is certainly a tip of the cap to the past, which was late 70s to a little piece of the 90s was this logo in terms of its, I think it might have gone to 98, but for that 20-year stretch or whatever it was on, it's not the same color it was back then. They call it a more modernized green. Do you miss the Kelly green, I guess is the shade that it would be, and then call it whatever you want, legacy green, whatever they're calling this version? Do you like the updated there, or did you want the full commitment to the past of having that pure like Kelly green?
No, I definitely like this green better. So for the original run of that logo, there's like, in my mind, there's 2 iterations of it. There's the 80s version and then there's the 90s version. And the 90s is more of like that Kelly green, as you said. I don't like that green as much as I like the 80s or current version of it. And again, like I said earlier in the show, I like that they modernized it. I think that's the way to go. I don't like, just carbon copying the back end, right? Like of how things used to be. I like that they updated it and made it a little bit unique, put a newer spin on it.
Yes, I agree with that. Thank you guys for coming with me and powering through. You're a professional. You are a professional, Matt, as all that weird technical mumbo jumbo is going on. Anywho, so a good little peek there at all of the logos, rankings, and grades that were happening there. Matt, as we just figured out with the math portion of the program earlier, we were 9 days away from the first round of the NFL draft. If you had a gun to your head and you had to predict what's going to happen at 10, what is it?
Okay, so we're doing prediction, not what I would do, right?
That's right. Prediction. Yes. What you believe is going to happen.
I think that Rome Odunze is going to end up being there for the Jets at 10, and I think that's going to be the pick.
Okay. By the way, I hope that's true because I'm scheduled to speak with Rome later this week, so that would be phenomenal. Those clips will gain a little bit more traction if indeed he ends up being on the Jets. So phenomenal. Okay. And it's interesting that you made sure that the question was clarified, that what you believe is going to happen, not perhaps what you want to happen. Matt O'Leary, what do you want to occur with the 10th overall pick?
So I'm team trade down. I would like to trade down and get a 2nd round pick so that I can take a swing at both offensive line and wide receiver somewhere in the top 50. Really, like if they come away with an offensive player in any capacity, right? Like trade up, trade down, stick and pick either a wide receiver, Brock Bowers, or an offensive lineman, I'm going to be okay with it. I'll say it that way. My slight preference is to go offensive line, but I would like to move down a couple of spots so I can get a second round pick in the process to take a couple of swings in the top 50. But if Roma Dunze somehow makes it to pick number 10 and the Jets decide to take him, I would be beyond thrilled because I think he would be a nice complement to Garrett Wilson in this offense.
When you say slight, is it 51% lean? Is it stronger than that? What does slight mean? I need a definition here, pal.
Yeah, so like, I guess if we were gonna can I group weapons together? Like,
of course, pass catchers. Yeah, whatever.
Okay.
Sure.
So I'll go like 55% offensive line, 45% weapon. So like pretty close.
Okay. Now let me follow up real quick. Because I was just this morning on NFL Live, they were kind of having this debate again. They said, offensive line, or because Brock Bowers was visiting yesterday. So that was, again, a topic of conversation. And they kind of went through the whole rigmarole, and Mina Kimes and RG3 both kind of ended up in the same place. They're like, you got to go offensive line. You have to. Like, that player is eventually going to get on the field. And and since you're leaning or slight, let me use the correct vernacular. Okay, with the slight lean in that direction, would you be satisfied with, instead of the offensive lineman trade back at 10, whatever, you get because I assume it's offensive tackle probably, but I guess you can't assume that if you get the veteran as the swing tackle, whether it's Donovan Smith or David Bakhtiari, and then you go weapon at 10 or trade back or whatever the scenario is, does that quench your offensive line thirst, or is it not quite quenched because still you don't have that long-term option there?
Yeah, so it makes it better, right? I definitely took a swig of a drink. Like I'm feeling a little bit better, but I'm not all the way there at that point because, like you said, they don't have long-term tackle options on this team. Both Tyron Smith and Morgan Moses are, they're due for a new contract at the end of the season. And I think there's injury concern with both those guys. I know Moses doesn't miss a lot of time in his career, but he's 33 and had surgery this offseason. So that's a little scary. And Tyron, I think you're happy if he gives you 13 or 14 games this year. He doesn't play full seasons anymore. So you're going to need your swing tackle to play. If they get a veteran, it satisfies me for like this year. But then you just have to know, like, you're going into next year. And again, you're going to be looking for two tackles like they were this offseason.
All right, so your team trade down. I'll ask you the same question I asked Dom C, who, thank you, shout out so much. He's joined us every Monday for all our draft episodes. I asked him, where is the line where you say, okay, I'm willing to trade back, but this is my breaking point. I'm not willing to go past here, insert wherever that imaginary line is, because there may be a differential in prospects. Like all of a sudden things drop off significantly after that point. Is there a line in the sand where if the Jets trade back, you'd be like, ooh, that's too far. That's too far.
I think the Bengals at 18 is the furthest that I would go. I don't want to get into the 20s or anything like that because like you still want to grab someone that's going to impact you immediately. And, at 10, you're definitely there's definitely going to be someone on the board there. But even if you slide, I think like 4 to 6 spots is the sweet spot, somewhere in that range, because that should be enough to get you some significant capital. And even if like maybe you can't get a second, but you get a third and then you package your 2/3 and get up into the second round or something like that. I would like the Jets to get another pick higher in this draft so that they could take the multiple swings at the positions of need. Because really, like, the only thing I'm worried about with this Jets team is their depth at both offensive line and wide receiver. Defense, I think that they have enough there. They could use some depth, but like day 3 depth at some positions. And other than that, like I'm pretty good with the state of the roster, but they need a little bit more at those 2 spots. So I'm trying to get picks in the top, we'll say top 70 picks at positions of need.
Which right now, of course, the Jets only have 2 picks in the top 100, let alone the top 70-ish area that we were talking about. Is that your plan after your plan? So you say, okay, your team trade down. You'd love a second, but if you can't get a second, you get a third. If you have 2/3, you're like, okay, we're packaging those puppies up and we're moving into the second.
Yeah, that's what I would do, I think. Especially because, like, in my preference, it's offensive line in the first round, but I think there's going to be some guys in round 2 at the receiver spot, whether it's Roman Wilson and Ricky Pearsall are like two of the guys that I feel like I keep going back to, that I would be looking to target in, somewhere around the middle of the second round. I know that's going to scare some Jet fans because of past history with second round receivers, but I'll say don't let past history stop you from trying to improve your team for the future. Every situation's unique and different. And just because you had some failures in the past doesn't mean that you should stop trying. So that's not enough to scare me off that path.
Stephen Hill, Devin Smith, Elijah Moore, Denzel Mims. That's a crazy list off the top of my head, and I'm sure there's more. That is disturbing. But to your point, again, what does that say about these guys? You can't let that scare you forever, or really the second round in general. But you've had David Harris's, you've hit Breece Hall, obviously. Hits have happened. You can make some contact. You can swing the bat and see what happens from that perspective. That's there. That can happen. Okay, that's interesting. That's an interesting plan. Matt O'Leary, what addition could be free agency or trade is the one that titillated your juices the most as a Jets fan this offseason? It was what?
I think I'm going to say the Hassan Reddick trade because that surprised me. I wasn't expecting that pivot. After losing Bryce Huff, which really bothered me, I was pretty vocal about it. I wanted to keep Bryce Huff, but after losing him, it was obvious that they were in on an edge rusher. They had Jadeveon Clowney visit, and I thought that would be a really good fit for them.
Me too.
And the Reddick trade, it felt like it just came out of nowhere. And at the cost, right? It's like a third round pick in 3 drafts from now. Who the hell cares, man?
Right.
You have this window of opportunity over the next 2 years or so with Aaron Rodgers. If there was ever a time to go for it, it's now. I don't see a scenario. Not that I don't think he can get double-digit sacks, but I just don't think with how much the Jets rotate that he's going to play 68% of snaps and it's going to turn into a second. So, again, hopefully in 2026, it's a late third round pick for a year or two of Hassan Reddick. I'm doing that every single time.
So this is another polarizing take. So Will McDonald, where does that leave him? Some say, oh boy, he is effed. He's going to be the same thing he just was a year ago in terms of snap percentages and things of that nature. I see Bryce Huff gone. I see Carl Lawson gone. I don't know. I see it more clearly okay, the opportunity's there. The Jets are going to have more leads. If everything's going to plan, you should have plenty of opportunities. But how do you see it?
Yeah, I think he's going to get on the field more than what he was last year, even with these additions. I don't expect him to play a ton of snaps, but he'll be a situational pass rusher for this team. So maybe around 40% plus or minus a little bit, and they'll put him in situations to succeed. He's not going to be on the field on early downs. He's not a great run defender, but second and long, third and long, put him on the field and let him get after the quarterback. Can he find his way to somewhere between 4 and 6 sacks in that role? I think he can. And I know that's not eye-popping for a top 15 pick, but edge rushers usually come on slowly. We saw Jermaine Johnson take a massive leap in year 2. I don't know if it's fair to expect that same kind of leap from Will McDonald, but I still think he could be a productive player for you in year 2.
I just realized this just because I knew the stat because I wrote an Ashton Davis article, and then you said, I think he's going to play more. I'm like, what were the number? I just knew it was the fewest since Vernon Goldston. 19% of the snaps last year. That was the same amount as Ashton Davis, believe it or not, for those in the back of the room, which, again, just that kind of, I just got, God just went, pow, and just kind of smited me with that one. That's wild. That's wild to me. But again, with more leads and things of that nature, these pass rushers should be able to get after. And by the way, Jets were top 10 as a team in sacks last year, and they never had leads. So shoot, what is the ceiling? What is possible for this unit? I'm kind of curious about. And another one here on the defensive line, it doesn't seem like it's a coincidence that all these other people are having these career seasons around Quinnen. You go back to last year, Sally, career year. Quentin Jefferson, who ends up leaving, career year. All these guys are around him. Bryce Huff, obviously, career year. So not even just defensive tackles. Even when Quinnen's not eating, he didn't have the crazy numbers he had in the past. Everyone else had it around him. So it's almost like the tip of the cap to Q. That's going to the next level.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one because he's going to eat up double teams in the middle of your defense, and he's just such a good football player, man, in the run game as a pass rusher. And having someone next to him that's going to benefit from it and get some cleanup sacks, right? Like sometimes it's ugly, but it doesn't matter how you get them. If you're getting sacks, you're getting sacks. And with Reddick and the stable of guys that they're going to have on the edge and Quinnen in the middle, I think there'll be an opportunity for the rotation of guys that are going to be next to Quinnen Williams on the interior that could put up some numbers. And I think it's a good call out from you, guys like Quentin Jefferson, even Sheldon Rankins, who was here for a year and then leaves. He gets a nice payday because of his production in this system. So it's a very beneficial system for defensive linemen who get after the quarterback.
This is sad in some ways, but cool in others, I guess. After this season, the big four can get paid. Sauce Gardner, Garrett Wilson, Jermaine Johnson, and Breece Hall. According to the CBA, after you play 3 years in, and at the conclusion of that third year, wherever that is, playoffs, regular season, what have you, you're eligible to negotiate a contract extension. GM Matt O'Leary, who's getting paid first?
Oh, that's a really tough question, man. I think Sauce, because he's the number one guy at the position, in my opinion. Like, he's the best cornerback in football, and that's nothing against Garrett Wilson, Jermaine Johnson, and Breece Hall. I think Breece is probably the next closest of who could be the best at their position. But I think with what the Jets look to do in their defense, they love to play, have their corners lock people down. Defensive line gets after the quarterback with 4, and that's how they have success. So I think Sauce would be the first one to get the extension, but they're going to want to try to keep all these guys.
Yeah, and quick aside on that, the Dallas Cowboys are just a flashing sign for me of, oh my God, CeeDee Lamb, Parsons, all these guys are coming up at the same time. It seems like the Cowboys really took their time to wait, and that scares me. I think we should get on top of it for multiple reasons. First off, make the players happy. Yeah. Number 2, it's going to be cheaper now than it is later. Sauce is suddenly not going to start. He's just, oh, wait, never mind. I'm not the number 1 corner. I'm a scrub. Like, that's not going to happen. So he's going to continue to be awesome. So if you pay him early, you're going to save a few bucks and look like a genius a few years later. Like, think about this, Matt. This is not about the big four. Quincy Williams, people gave shit about Quincy Williams having a 3-year deal for $18 million. Zaire Franklin, who, with all due respect, my boy here from Syracuse in Indianapolis, just signed like a 3-year deal for $30 million plus. That deal looks pretty darn good.
Yeah, that's a great value contract. Some of it was a little projection at the time. They really liked Quincy, and it paid off because he developed into one of the best linebackers in football in his 3rd year in the system with the Jets. So that is a great value one, and hopefully, as you said, if you do it sooner rather than later, you might end up getting better value on these guys, because who knows what these contracts are going to look like 3-4 years down the line when, the salary cap goes up every single year and guys are going to get paid.
Okay, 2 quickies before we get you out of here, Matt. And I'm afraid of the answer you're going to give to this, but I have to ask it. It's part of my job. Is Breece Hall going to get, excuse my Guatemalan here, is he going to get dicked around because he's a running back? And after, so like, again, he's eligible for a contract after year 3, which means anyone who's not a non-first rounder gets a 4-year standard contract. He would have 1 year left heading into 2025. The Jets could play the franchise tag game and mess around with him and run him into the ground. And then after that, just let him go, which is what a lot of the experts on the national show say. I hear Matt Miller say it all the time. Run him into the ground, rookie contract, franchise, let him go, and then let someone else pay him after that. Is that what's going to happen? Or are the Jets going to, like, Jonathan Taylor it, not in a bad way, not with all the crap that happened, but like reward him with the 3-year deal of interesting money and keep him here longer than what maybe another team would at the running back spot? What's your gut say?
So I'm not against the idea of let the rookie contract play out and franchise, just because I think the franchise tag is such a good number for these running backs. And that's the thing. Like, it's the unfortunate reality of the position. Like, if you have a ton of miles on you, and once you reach 27, like, it's kind of hard to stay productive. But Breece is still really young. He has a lot of or doesn't have as many miles because he missed time as a rookie. So if they were to do an extension with him, I would like to do like a deal that maybe, you rip up the 4th year of the contract and it's like a 3-year deal where you get new money in year 4, and then you have him for years 4, 5, and 6, which would put him at, again, not a math guy.
Yeah. Let me get that.
Age 26, I believe, if you look at his first 6 seasons in the league.
Yeah, he's still only 22. Good Lord. But he turns 23 in May. So yeah,
Okay.
do whatever that math is. Yeah.
Right. So if you are to do an extension, I think that's the way that I would go about doing it, because I love Brees Hall. I think he's a phenomenal player. It's just, again, the unfortunate reality of the position. They have very, very short peaks. So loading up and giving like massive 5-year extensions, I don't think is the right way to manage that position.
Fair enough. And Matt, the final one here. So obviously you guys are doing that awesome draft party. That sounds really cool. What about the Jets draft stream that you guys normally do with all of you guys together? Obviously some of that will be while you guys are live, the fan reactions and things of that nature. But for the full draft, what's your guys' plan?
Yeah, it's an absolute blast. This is the 5th year already that we're doing
Awesome.
these live streams, which is crazy. The time absolutely flies. But yeah, we'll be live from the main event on night 1.
Mhm.
And then same thing, day 2, day 3. I'm sure we're going to get some guests in there as well. And day 3 usually gets a little off the rails, which is fun. we like to have fun with it. I think last year we were debating which fast food restaurant had better fries.
Oh, I remember that. That got heated. That got intense.
It get heated because Ryan was throwing out some BS saying that Burger King had good French fries, which is just an absolute joke of a take. So yeah, we get into tons of different stuff. It's a lot of fun. It's a great place to hang out if you're a Jet fan, and you get to see our reactions. And sometimes people still to this day will go back and clip our reactions. So like, oh, see, you weren't happy about this pick.
I saw some of that recently. Oh,
yeah, which it's well, now this time in round 1, it's not going to just be us 3 up there. We're going to get reactions of like 60 plus other Jet fans. So we're not going to be the only ones on the spot.
Yeah, that should be a lot of fun. Plus, of course, the Jets had the final 2 picks in the draft, which adds a little bit of juice to the end of that thing. And then just one more plug here. Where can everyone tune in for that? It's just going to be the, I don't want to call it new because it's not new, but relatively new Talking Jets channel. Is that one, or is it going to be coming from the 3 of you? Where's it? Where can people find it? Just if people watch it live or after the fact.
Yeah, so on the Talking Jets YouTube channel, we'll be streaming there. We've had that solo channel now for like a year or so, I want to say.
Okay, great.
Yeah, it's this will be the first draft that we're doing on this channel. Though we previously did the show on Jets Talk 24/7, and then made the new one over there. So that's where you can find it.
Okay, beautiful. Matt, it's always great. I wanted to play the music Reunited, and it feels so good. It was great to have you back here on the program, man. Enjoy the rest of the draft coverage, and I'm sure we'll be taking everything in. Thanks, pal.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me again, Paul.
All right, guys, we will see you a little bit later for Boy Green Meets Woody. We'll be having a draft expert on the show coming up at 3 o'clock. We'll see you guys then. Thanks for tuning in. See you next